Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you'd like, Super Dave. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. We are talking a character that I've been waiting to get to. As far as when they revealed this character, I was like, holy cow, I can't wait to get to that character. And he's one of my favorite characters from the comics and the way that he was interpreted. Good morning, Michael Gene Fleming. Thank you for joining us. And that is Raptor. I know Raptor is not one of everybody's favorite characters, but he's one of my favorite characters. So this is 139 in the classified series. We started with way back when last year. It seems like it was a long time ago, but it was a long time ago. 00 Snake Eyes, and we've gotten all the way up to 139, and we've done 20 vintage retro packages. We've done 3 60th anniversary and legacy figures thus far. So we are really cooking now. We've got some fun stuff coming up, but this is one of my most anticipated figures. I've been waiting and chomping at the bit to get to Raptor. And when we get into him and look at this figure, you'll understand why I've been so excited about this figure. But first, we have to go into a little bit of the history of Raptor. First, we're going to go to, of course, Dan Klingsmith's series of books. Volume number 1, Raptor appeared in, Creating G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, by Dan Klingsmith Jr. All right, let's get to Raptor. So there's not a lot in here on Raptor. There's actually, he's right next to one of my favorite Cobra Commanders, Cobra Commander, Armor Cobra Commander. When we get to that, that's another one that I am really waiting to get to. But there's Raptor in all his glory with his bird and his cool wings and that beautiful artwork. And it's a bit of a mystery as to who did this artwork because it's unknown. So there's a little mystery in Raptor's artwork. It says alternate names: Peregrine, Goss, or Scree. Year release 1987. So this is right at the time that Ron Rudat was leaving G.I. Joe and Mark Pennington was taking over, but nobody knows who did the design of this figure. So that's a mystery. This painted artwork is done by Dave Dorman, though. The design work, nobody knows who did the design work, but that painting is Dave Dorman. It says, this is the final presentation painting by Dave Dorman. So that's all they have. That's all Dan had at the time that he made this book for Raptor. I would have to look into to see if he found anything else afterwards or got anything else afterwards, because he gets a lot of this artwork in these presentation pieces from the creators that worked at Hasbro at the time, the design teams at Hasbro at the time in the 80s. So he must not have gotten anything from anybody else on Raptor. So Raptor is a bit of a mystery. So, and then there's a little bit of information on the final images of the product, but there's no like history of Raptor in here. So that is disappointing for me on Raptor. So then next, we're going to go into his vintage package, and that is right here. If I can get that glare off. There's Raptor. Try to get him more centered, not sneak peek. there. He comes with a lot of gear. He's a really fun looking character. That's another one of these characters. When I saw him on the pegs as a child, he just like leapt off the pegs. I'm like, who the heck is this crazy bird guy? And I was like, whoa, look at this guy. Good morning, Sean Jones. Thanks for joining us today. Good morning, Super. Appreciate it. Um, so that is from Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe, Volume 3, 1986 to 87, R. Carson Metaxas. And this is a bit of where I started to wane after this year. 87 is where it started to go down. I wasn't getting all the vehicles, and then it just slowly went down from there into the 90s, where I pretty much only were getting sporadic figures and sporadic things. Like I got Street Fighter, I got a couple of figures here and there in the 90s, but that's at the end of 87 is where I started to go down. So then Raptor's first appearance is G.I. Joe number 59. Real American Hero by Larry Hama in the 80s in Marvel Comics. Now, this story is one of my favorite all-time stories in G.I. Joe comics because there's so much going on. Hello, good morning, Clement. Thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate it. This is going to be a really fun one. I think you're going to like it, Clement. Clement. It has a lot of stuff that I love in this. It has Cobra Commander Armor Cobra Commander version 3. It has Fred 7 in that armor, spoiler alert. It has Raptor. It has Billy. It has a whole bunch of fun stuff in it. It's the first appearances of characters like Tunnel Rat and Outback and Raptor, and Armor Cobra Commander appeared earlier. But it also has one of my all-time favorite vehicles, the Pogo. And it's because of this story that I really like the Pogo. It's a fun piece of G.I. Joe memorabilia, I guess you could call it, or vintage toy collecting, the Pogo. And it's I love it. Raptor never appeared in any Sunbow animation. He didn't appear in Deke, and he didn't appear in the Operation Dragonfire miniseries prior to Deke. So we never got to see any animation of Raptor. But that that comic that I just showed you, they did an ad of that. It's one of the last ads that they did, animation ads for the comic. That was one of the last ones. They originally did issue 1, and it went over so well. They did 4 more, then they did 4 more after that. And I think this is the third of the last 4. So they would be periodically, and they would introduce a lot of new toys and vehicles and so on and so forth. But this is, I think, the third of the last batch of 4 that they did. I think the one with the stealth bomber on it, where it has all the jets and stuff, that might have been the last cartoon ad that they did for the toy line, advertising the comic, I believe. This is the second to the last, I think. But so we never got Raptor in animation. Very sad. I think it would have been a fun thing. There's rumors that we're going to get him in the 3rd season with the Coil, where they were setting up this new faction of Cobra, the Coil, at the end of the 2nd season, before they got into the motion picture that ended up being broken up into 5 parts, and then them going into Operation Dragonfire. There was going to be another season, a 3rd season after the movie, and it never happened. And there's rumor that Raptor, Big Boar, Crocmaster, Crystal Ball, a lot of these type characters were all going to be in that season. And the Crimson Guards were going to play a heavy role in leadership in that season, but it never turned out. And so we never got to see Raptor. Very, very sad. I know it's just because of the timing of when he came out, but it feels really weird that a character like Raptor was in a number of issues of the comic but never appeared in the cartoon. Yeah, it was because Larry gets this stuff way ahead, Michael Gene Fleming. So he knew that all these characters were coming. So he could stick in Crocmaster in an annual. He could put Raptor and Armor Corps Commander and Pogo and Outback and Tunnel Rat in this story. And there's a couple other characters like Sneak Peek, Law and Order, Falcon, Fast Draw that comes, I think, the next issue, 60. And so he had the line plan way in advance. And part of the remit of the comic was to try and get toys in the comic. So he came up with all different unique and imaginative ways to include toys and characters in the comic. And it takes way longer to make an animated series or cartoon than it does a comic. And because they were advertising the comic in those ads, the animation was done ahead of time for that comic ad. So it's a weird kind of arena that you're playing in with this a toy brand as successful as GI Joe that had been long going, and they were doing what they needed to do, but the animation series was changing hands, and they wanted to get some cheaper animation and stuff like that. So there was a big gap there after the movie, like a year gap. And that's why we didn't get a lot of 87, 88, 80, and some of 89. We ended up getting some of 89 in Operation Dragonfire, and then 90, 91, 92, and so on in Deke. So that's a bit of the time frame of the window there where Raptor just ended up getting missed in that, because we did get some of that 87 lineup with Tunnel Rat, Outlaw, Chuckles, Jinx, Falcon, the whole Cobra La, Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders with the Red Dog, Mercer, Taurus, and so on. So we did get some of 87, just not everything. And like I said, a lot of that stuff that we missed were going to be in the next season, the third season that was going to be a coil heavy season. All right, so then we got the vintage figure, which is a really fun figure of Raptor. I don't think I have all of his accessories. I do have his bird, which they didn't give him a name in the vintage, but there's his bird there. The vintage one did not come with a name. I don't think I have the claws. He did come with claws in the vintage, but I don't have the claws. So you're supposed to put this hand in here, and he's supposed to hold this a little bit, so it looks like he's kind of flying. So if you open the arms up a little bit and you put these little holes that are in the wings into his hands, it looks like he's kind of trying to fly with his wings there, like that. And there, and turn his arm, have that facing that way. There. He's a really sturdy figure. He's in good shape. But that cloth cape is really nice. It's obviously a bird motif there. It looks really, really good. I think they did a fun job with this figure. I like that cowl that they gave him, the bird cowl. It kind of looks like one of the Court of Owls type people from Batman comics recently, or like a Batman cowl. And this is a very sturdy, strong looking figure. He's solid. He's not loose. And I have the cloth, and it's got some flocking on it, and his helmet comes off. It's a little loose, but it's all right. It's got that flocking on there, and he's got the jewel there, the bird jewel. And I'm guessing you can fit this on his arm here. So I'm going to try to do that so we can put his bird on there. So he is a tax expert, and he's a falconer. That's why he's a raptor. So that looks really, really cool. I like that a lot. They did a good job with him. 610, Yojo Daddy. What's up, Super Dave? Raptor has always been a favorite of mine. It's weird, isn't it, 610, Yojo Daddy? There's a lot of like vitriol towards this character. I don't know why. He's a cool character. He has a lot of playability with those claws, with the flying, with the birds, and they gave him a really cool backstory with his tax part of Cobra. He's an accountant, and he's just a little funky, and has a cool action with that bird stuff, right? I like him. I always thought he was an interesting character, something different, something unique. He definitely stood out in that lineup of Cobras for 87 amongst Big Boa, Croc Master, Crystal Ball. He was one of the standouts there. I would say him and Croc Master stood out the most to me because they came with pets. But that was a really nice lineup of characters. I liked all those characters for different reasons. So I'm going to put Raptor back in his little box because I don't think he's going to stand up if I leave him like this. So I'll stick him back in his little box. There. Oops. Get back in there. We'll leave him there. And so then we're going to get into the classified figure. And you can see that intensity in his eyes. He's got those claws. He's got his bird. Now, the interesting thing about the bird, they named the bird in the classified line, whereas in the vintage line, he did not have a name. They named him Admiral Ledger. So it's Raptor and Admiral Ledger. And that's what we're going to get into. And I love that artwork. It looks really cool. Now, there's a lot of homages of this figure to the the mid-20s 4-inch. I think it's Rise of Cobra, or maybe it was Resolute. I can't remember which one it was, but they did a Raptor, and it looks a lot like this. There's a lot of homages they pulled from that one. There's also some homages to this vintage one. So it's a mixture of several different Raptors that we've gotten over the years, which is fine with me. I don't mind that. Whatever makes it a better figure, makes it a better character, I'm okay with whatever they pull from. So then, like I said before, it's 139. We have the target artwork, we have the QR code, and the designations. Now, I'm sure he's going to have some really fun designations. Let's look at these. So he's got a, like, it looks like a science. It looks like that's a science thing there. Maybe. Can't really see what that is. Maybe not. Maybe. I can't see exactly what that is. He does have hand-to-hand combat. He's got the money bag with the files. So he has the black market dealer. He's got the claw, which I believe is an animal handling. The only one is I can't figure out what this top one is. I don't know if that's science or marksman. I can't tell what that is. Let me look on here and see if I can find a different thing for that. No. Yeah, I don't know. Michael Gene Fleming, see if you can look that Raptor one up and tell me what that is. I can't tell what that one is. It's either science or marksman. It might be marksman. I just can't tell. So Michael Gene Fleming, let me know what that is. It's too small and I can't see with my old eyes. All right. So then we have this beautiful Shooting the Galaxy photography artwork in the back. Matt and Mike and then some call outs on the figure there on the side. And you can see behind him, he's got some trouble bubbles chasing that are in the background that he's leading to some action. There's multiple birds back there. You got him with his claw attacking, jumping off a cliff. I don't see anything else in the back there. So um, then we have the loadout on the front, and it has all the accessories and all the gear. And I want to call this out: Chip, Raptor, Talon, and General Ledger. So his name is Chip Talon. That's his real name, Chip Talon. That is so funny. I didn't know that was his name. I don't think they called him that in the comics. I think they just called him Raptor, and they said he was an accountant, but I don't think they ever named him. So Chip Talon. I find these names, some of these names that they give them on the packages are really funny. And then of course Raptor, and then General Ledger, his bird is in there as well. So we're going to get into this because I've been chomping at the bit to get to this figure for a while, and I'm very, very excited. He's going to be a really fun one. I don't know if we would get a vintage one of this or not, but I hope we get another one because I just like Raptor a lot, and he's just one of those characters that really stands out for me as a fun character. So on this one, we have to take the interior package out and take the part of the wings off. So first, we're going to open up Raptor. And there he is. And let's see. Excuse that noise. That's the packaging. All right out of the package. We got this figure leaked way in advance. He was leaked. A lot of the sculpts were leaked, and some of the helmet was leaked and stuff. And we were looking at it like, what are they doing with this? We could tell that it was Raptor, but he didn't look like what we thought he was gonna. So he was one of those figures that was leaked really early on. But I'm glad to say, I'm happy to say that they did a phenomenal job. They did all the elements that needed to be done with this character. They upgraded it. They made it more bird-like with the feathers on this secondary harness that he has, like that. They gave him hair underneath the cowl with a mohawk, kind of a mohawk and shaved sides, and then they did that face makeup, kind of like Zartan face makeup on him. And if you look at this face print, the face print of him, he is really good. Look at the intensity in that face. You can see he's concentrating. Look at the eyes through that mask. And then he has lots of tattoos. So this is where we get into the 4-inch modern version of him, where he had a lot of that tattoos on him, and there was like a little bit of a Zartan styling with that figure. A lot of people thought it was Zartan, but it wasn't. It was Raptor. Um, he's got that these little arm tattoos on the side that have like wings attached. And then in the back, on his back, he also has those tattoos kind of going down the back of his back that are like bird tattoos. So you can tell, obviously, he's one of these guys that sits in his home or his house or his apartment or whatever, and he's obsessed because he's just doing taxes all day long. And so he's doing stuff to his body and stuff just to get some sort of a thrill out of life or thrill out of his own personal existence by getting all these cool tattoos. Now I like these gauntlets as well. They have like little extra bird elements to them, and they're gray and black gauntlets with a little bitty red like talon in there. You can hardly see that red talon that's there, but there's a little bitty red talon on that gauntlet, and it's on the other arm as well. You can see that little bitty red talon there in there, barely visible through my camera, but it's there. He's got black gloves. He's got the familiar necklace, that red necklace that he had with the vintage one with the bird on it. Actually, it's another talon, so I'm guessing it's a raptor talon. That's what those three little pieces are that he's got on there. Um, on the legs, he's also got the bird, extra bird feathers sticking out of his leg, and he's got little claws on the feet, little talons there to really carry home that he's using this bird motif, and he's really doing a lot with it. He's got the secondary harness on the right leg and on the left leg. Both of those have little things that you can put stuff on. He's got a holster on his waist, on the left side of his waist, for a gun, some sort of a pistol. Um, he's got that big eagle like belt buckle there that's in like a pewter silver deco that looks really, really cool as well. He's got a black belt. He's got the familiar brown pants. They changed the color of the clothes. For some reason with Classified, they're always changing the colors of these pants, and they're either muting it or they're making it darker, because I guess they don't like the brighter colors of the vintage that much, because it's one or the other. It's either muted or darker, and they did that with his pants. They made them darker brown, which is fine. It works with this figure and it looks good on the figure, but it's really one of the best, I think, upgrades, classifying up of a character. If you really want to go there, classifying up, he was definitely classified up. They really upgraded him in a lot of ways, and we'll get into that when we get to his accessories. So we're going to put him over here. We're going to get into some of his accessories. And we have his cowl, which this is one of the items that was leaked as well. But they really upgraded this cowl. They gave the vintage one these big eyes, and it was fine. It looked like a cowl that was out of like Batman or something like that. But when we get into Classified, they don't mess around. They really get into that detail of these things and the realism of it. That looks like that would be a real raptor's head if you had a real raptor's head. It is so detailed. There's all kinds of deco hits on that. There's like some yellow, amber eyes and some blue details around the beak, and some beige and some brown and stuff like that. It's fantastic. They did a really good job with this. So we're gonna put that on his head, because Raptor is not Raptor without his cowl, and so he looks so much more menacing with that on. Doesn't he look more menacing? Yeah, I love that. All these feathers and stuff, there's all kinds of different deco hits. There's different shades of browns, there's different shades of beiges with all the feathered secondary as well. I use the eagle from McFarlane's Superman, so he has an open wing bird with him as well. Hey, that's a good idea. I like that, Yojo. 610 Yojo Daddy. See, you always thinking outside the box. You're always looking at ways to expand the figure's horizon or broaden the appeal of the figure and make it a better figure. I like that about you. You do a really good job, and that makes sense. Because he is a raptor. I would have liked him to have had several raptors with him. Maybe if we get a vintage raptor, we'll get a couple more birds instead of a lot of the accessories that he came up with this one, because this is a deluxe figure, so he came with a lot more stuff. So if they do the vintage one, maybe they'll do a cloth cape type thing like the vintage one, and they'll give him a lot more birds and maybe some stands for the birds to sit on. But yeah, this is Admiral Ledger, And he's got a lot of really cool deco details, some gray talon, brown, and several different browns on his body, lighter, darker. He's got the beige body interior. He's got the light brown head with a little bit of that feather on the top, and the eyes and that cover over the eyes. So there's a lot of deco on this for just a little standing bird, I must say. And he's got a little teeny piece of, I don't know, jewelry or something underneath there, like a tracking device or some sort of a homing device. So Raptor can keep an eye on him when he needs to, or call him back or whatever. Because I think he would need something like that, like a whistle or whatever. So I'm going to stick him over here, and we'll wait to put him on there until we're ready. And then we got the Wolverine claws. Now these are really cool. Now we had these with, I think it was the Night Creepers had these claws. So it makes sense that they would give these to Raptor, because he had one of these when he was a vintage character. I just don't have the vintage one. What did I call him? General Ledger, right? I don't know what I called him. What did I say? I thought I called him. Oh, I called him Admiral Ledger, right? I'm sorry, General Ledger. General Ledger. You're right about that. I apologize. Sometimes when I'm going through these, I say things and they're weird things, and I'm like, wait a minute. But you're right. It's General Ledger, not Admiral Ledger. Admiral Ledger was a G.I. Joe admiral in the cartoon. Oh my God, that's so funny. Thank you very much, 610 Yojo Daddy. General Ledger. So let's put these claws on him. Let's see. So there's two of these. They're going to go on his hands, his left and right hands. Let's see. There. All right. I would have liked to have had a bit of a better holding of these on here. They're a little bit hanging off a little bit. I don't really like that. Let's see. Uh, General Ledger and his acupuncting pun, BTW. Oh, yeah, is that right? Michael Gene Fleming? Okay. Gunpowder Nitro. What's good, y'all? Thanks for joining us. Good morning. Yes, it is Michael Gene Fleming. Gunpowder, Clement, John Jones. Everybody saying hi in the chat. All right. So I don't know. I think these should be a little bit more tighter on his hands and go up maybe to the wrist or something like that. I don't know. I don't really care for that fit, that claw fit that they have on there. What do you think, 610 Yojo Daddy? Do you like the claws the way that they are, or do you think they should be a little bit different? Because if you look at them, they're a little bit weird looking. The positioning of them, I don't know. Oops. I will say there's little holes in both of the wrists for General Ledger. I'll make sure I get that right. Which you can put him on either arm if you have to. So his articulation is as follows. He's got the butterflied shoulders, the double pin knees, the double pin elbows. He's got the thigh articulation, the calf articulation. He's got the ab crunch, the crotch and leg articulation. He's got the head um, rocker articulation. He's got the foot rocker, the secondary ankle articulation. He's got the wrist articulation, and he's got the secondary wrist um, bendy articulation. But he doesn't have the. I don't think he has the second. Oh, he does have the secondary. So he's got all the articulation points. He's got the secondary wrist and the bendy wrist, which is very rare. We don't see those articulation points that often. One of the articulation points that I thought was a mistake in the Starduster, I would have liked his head to go back farther so he could look up when he's flying. Now, if you look at that Starduster over there, his head's not flying. It's kind of just looking down like that, but it should be up like he's looking out into the sky. And I think Raptor should have a better articulation point for that as well, because he's a flying character and he's got a bird type eyes view as well. I got mine further on, but it took a lot of forcing and heat to look right. Ah, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to fiddle around with it because I don't like that. I want that to go further in there and be around that hand better. That's just me. But so, do you guys think that head needed to be a little bit up so you can be in a flying angle like you would have? Like, say if his wings were like this and you had his head, it should be kind of up, right? He should be facing that way and not down. So I think that articulation point should have been corrected when they did Starduster. They should definitely have done that with Raptor, in my opinion. So that's a bit of a detraction. And I don't know, the vintage one, his head bends back a little bit more because he has that ball joint on there. So there's a bit of a better bird's eye view when it comes to the figure and doing that that skill with the flying. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little too picky about it. I don't know. But yeah, I would have liked to have had that there, and I would like those claws to go on there further, a little bit further. So let's see. Then we have his revolver. Excuse that noise again. Let's see. Then we have a dagger that goes on that little holster on the side of his right leg. So let's see. So all right, here's his revolver. I think we've seen this revolver a few times. They did add some deco to it, some silver deco, to give it a little bit of that 3D effect there. So it's really good. And then we also have the dagger that Lone Dragon, good morning. Hello, Super Dave. How's it going? Yes, that's one articulation foil with classified. Hope the head looking up gets better. Yeah, I would like to talk to the team and ask them about that sort of stuff and figure out why they can't do that. Then we have the silver dagger, a little silver deco on there with that little ball thing there. So we'll put those on him. So I don't know. It's sad because I love this figure and I love this character. I wanted it to be perfect, and it would have been in my top 10 if I had gotten. I think I did do a top 10 toys of 2024, but it was all of like GI Joe. It wasn't just classified last year, or 24, 2 years ago now. So it was in my top 10, but obviously when I haven't opened a lot of these up, so I didn't know about that until now. And that's one of the detractions of doing this series is we learn things as we go. And now that I've learned that, it kind of kind of takes a little bit about of the playability from the figure that I'm not too pleased on. So I got all of his accessories out of the first package. So I'm going to put him back down here, and then we're going to get his second accessory. So we have the legal, gobbledygook, and indicia there, and then we have his wings. So we're going to get those out of there in just a moment. Toy Addict said Hasbro are going to make O-rings again, and adult only line they're making Low Life, aka Low Light. Ah, that's funny. Cobra Emperor 66 Delta 17. That's a funny thing. I don't know if they're gonna do O-rings. I think Super 7 is doing O-rings right now with Reaction. And Hasbro has been doing them for quite a while since they've started classified. They're like in the mid 30s on their O-rings. If you really think about all the ones that they did, those 2-packs, all the Sky Striker figures, all the they did a Stinger with a driver. They did the collabs with different characters. Where there was a Zorana and Zartan, there was Sergeant Slaughter, there was Leatherneck, there was Stalker, Baroness, and then they did Celia and Jarek with the Jetfire San Diego Comic Con set last year. So there are about 30 O-rings in on that modern O-ring collection. If you add all that up for their O-rings, so they're still making O-rings. There's a rumor that we're getting a Mobat Optimus Prime, and it's supposed to include Hawk, an O-ring Hawk figure. So we're gonna get another one there as well. So I don't know. I think we're still going to get O-rings from Hasbro. We're still getting O-rings from Super 7. It's fine. Whoever gets us the best product, I'm happy with it. I love this brand. I want it to be successful. They sent them to figure already. Oh, okay. Interesting. It's for real. It's an adult only line. Okay, I understand. I see what you're saying. Um, Uh, Go watch the video. He shows you the figure. He tells you has was doing. Okay, I will. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hasbro sent him the figure. Hasbro said what they're gonna be doing. They told him what to say. That's very strange that they would do something like that. Does Hasbro do that with podcasters, interviews? I know sometimes they do give figures renders in advance, and sometimes like people like the Full Force Chris McLeod has a heads up on certain things, but that's things that he's figured out and he's done some research and some um, um, mystery hunting and unlocking of the designations and all those type of things. So I've never seen Hasbro do something like that. I'm not saying that they didn't do it, but it is interesting. That is unique. It's real. He made the whole video already. Hasbro sent him the figure. Okay, I take your word for it. So it's I'll look into it. It's Toy Addicts, right? I'll look into it. Thank you. I am subscribed to Toy Addicts, so I will look into it. Yeah, it's like a short video. Okay, Cobra Emperor, I appreciate it. And it's all right. Do you know? Like they give you a guideline to follow? That's what I mean by telling him what to say. Oh, okay. So yeah, whenever I do interviews with people like that, like Brian Flynn, I have to make sure that legal uh, approves of my interview, and that I don't ask things that are outside the realms of what they want revealed at certain times. Sometimes Brian Flynn goes off and he'll reveal stuff, and legal will be like, "Hey, cut that," or cut that, or whatever. I've had that happen with several of my interviews, so I understand that stuff happens with Hasbro. That was by Toy Addicts. It was a custom. He clickbaited for a video. He even said it was a custom, not real. Oh, okay. So 610 Yojo Daddy says that's not real. That was clickbait, Cobra Emperor. Screenshot the video and make a video about it. I never seen that. He never said anything about a click bait fake. He said it's real. Okay, well, I'll do some investigation and I will talk about that on my next video. I can't do it while I'm in the middle of this video, obviously. But I'll look into it and I'll report on it, and I'll let you guys know one way or the other. That would be fraud. You can't just say Hasbro told you this is a line. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That would be fraud. If it's public, it definitely would be fraud. There would be some defamation there and some misrepresentation and misinformation. Definitely, I agree with you, Cobra Emperor. So I look forward to figuring out what's going on with that. Gunpowder Nitro. I'm sorry, busting over a toy is beyond me. Toys are cool, but real boo-boo are better. Okay, Gunpowder Nitro. So that's interesting. I will definitely look into that. I keep my ear to the community, and I look for things that I can talk about that I believe are legitimate things and legitimate subjects and topics and conversation pieces, Cobra Emperor. So I will definitely look into it. I promise you, and I'll find out one way or another what's going on. I'll go check the video again to be sure, because if this guy is lying to me, then you can block him. All right. We'll do that. Thank you very much. That's what this community is about. We help each other. We We stand up for each other. We support each other. Support and stuff like that. So when this stuff comes out, we need to let people know. We need to report it. We need to let people know that there's scamming going on and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's happening because I haven't actually watched the video, so I don't know other than the information you're giving me right now. But I definitely will look into it, and I appreciate your heads up, and I appreciate 610 Yojo Daddy as well. So we'll look into it. So let's get these wings out of here, and we'll get back to Raptor. Another thing that is a little bit of a speculation is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles G.I. Joe. There's now a little bit of a controversy with that, where they're saying that might not be real. I believe it is real because I believe, again, because Chris gets a lot of this stuff way in advance from the full force, and he's very good about this. He does not post about things that are not real, and he'll say if it's speculation or something. And he reported on a while ago last year about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles G.I. Joes coming to light. So that whole thing with them possibly not being real, I don't think that's accurate. I think they are real. I just think they used some preliminary artwork and stuff, and I do think that they are going to be revealed at New York Toy Fair 2026 sometime in February when Toy Fair comes out. So we have the Cobra logo as the inside of the package as usual, and it's a little bit darker. And then we have these wings. Yeah, that guy is lying. You could read all the stuff in the video. There's nothing saying it's a fake customer or anything like that. Yojo Daddy lying. No, I don't know about that. Let me look into it. Let's be respectful. We'll find out what's going on, and we'll look into it. And I'll give you the the 411 and let you know what's going on in my next video after I have a chance to look into it, okay? Um, yep, I'm going to show you. I just went and read it all. The stuff, there is nothing saying it's clickbait or fake. Oh, wow. All right, so like I said before, I'm going to look into it. I'll find out one way or another. Let's get back to what we're here for. We're here for this Raptor review. There you go, Clement. The wings have all kinds of articulation points on them. They go up and down. They go this way. They go that way on both sides there and up and down. There's all kinds of color. All right, that sounds good. So there's all kinds of decos hits on there, like engine colors, tampos. There's lots of tampos on there. There's some silver, there's some brown, there's some gray. There's one tampo, it says RIP wing and CM2. There's also a little bit of thruster exhaust there on the wings. So this is a really beautifully done mechanical set of wings, a definite upgrade to the classified or the vintage version, I should say. And on the back, you have these vents, these rotary vents there and there that help you with the air flow and everything. That looks really good as well. So I'm going to try to get this on Raptor and we'll see what it looks like. But it looks really cool. And it has those little bitty thrusters there with some red and yellow fire on there as well. And there's several different fire thruster things there as well. Yeah, there is a little bitty texture. There's like a feathery texture on there and over here with the feathers, but it's all metal. But there is some texture to these feathers and all this technology. There's some texture to it as well. And in the back, those vents, there's texture to the vents there, and they're all individually sculpted. So this has a lot of sculpt detail in it. Let's see. Cobra Emperor. Yeah, there is a lot of texture and detail in it. Destro is my spirit animal with love that would love that picture. What picture? Oh, figure? Oh, he loves that figure. Oh, okay. Destro is my spirit animal. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like Destro as my spirit animal. I wouldn't mind getting him on the show so we could talk and have a little bit of a chat. He's an interesting figure in the community, and I do do interviews with figures in the community, members of the community, other podcasters and stuff. If you guys haven't had a chance, check out my 250th episode with 610 Yojo Daddy, and then I did an episode New Year's 2025 top 10 video with Woody 222. So I do get people on the channel that contribute to the channel and do add to this. So I'm going to add this to Raptor and we'll see what it looks like and we'll play around with it a little bit. All right. Let's see. So he has the peg hook through the back, through the secondary feather harness there. So let's see. So that's, I'll make sure everything stays on him. So I'm going to turn his feet up a little bit like that. There. Like that. So that's exactly like I was saying with the wings. His head needs to be up farther. It really does. Obviously, the cowl protects him from that exhaust from that the wing mechanics there, but his head needs to be up. It definitely needs to be up, and they have to show that he's flying, because how can he steer? How can he control these wings? He would have to be like this. It would be have to be like a hovercraft kind of thing instead, that he's hovering and he's not flying, right? So that's a little bit of a problem in my estimation. The silver parts on that harness on the back are control bits, so it can go up and down where there's like stopping and gliding parts and stuff. So I think that's cool, and I like the fact that the wings are a little curved; they're not straight, so you can do like an upward kind of motion with it with the wings, and the fact that you can go in and out with these wings and go up and down with them is a really good part of the figure. It's just I think that part with the head really throws me off. Another part that I really like, you really can't see it with the light, but maybe I can show it like that. There's little tips on the ends of each of these wings that he can use to cut things that are really sharp. Um, hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, all. Um, Overall, this is like a practically 7.5 figure. It's just that cowl angle is really throwing me off. Um, Everybody's saying hi in the chat. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm thinking you could use the ab crunch there to give him a little bit more of an angle, with the body, um, and the ability to play with it more and have a little bit more uh, fun with it. So he's kind of like attacking with those claws. So there's a couple of little things that are nagging me, the claws and that cowl situation. But this is a fabulous figure, a beautiful upgrade to this figure Raptor for a character that was kind of a laughing stock when it came out originally. I never felt that. I loved the character, but this one is really, really a step up. I've got to say, they went out of their way. Um, there's another articulation point. I didn't even notice this. There's an articulation point here on the shoulder there that also it can go there like that. So you can maybe change that up and do it kind of like that. So he's kind of like Hawkman or something like that from the Justice League. So that's another plus that they added that. So there's so much articulation points on this figure. I don't know why they didn't do it with the head ball joint and give him and like characters like the Steel Core and Starduster that extra articulation there. I just don't get it. It's a puzzling thing. If I ever have an opportunity to speak to them, I know they're making a lot of decisions when it comes to these things, and they have to cost cut these things and make sure they fit into the budget. And he was a deluxe figure, so there's a lot more added to him than the average figure. So I give them props for what they did do, but yeah, there's a couple little things that are nagging at me. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a great figure? Do you think he stands up as a really beautiful upgrade to the vintage one? I've got to figure out where I'm going to display him. I'm going to have to get a stand because I'm not going to put him on a standing position. I'm going to try and get him in like a flying position. So you can see how I did this back here. I did the Steel Core, female and male, and then I added Starduster. I'm wondering if I can move some of that stuff back that's on the deck there and maybe put a stand of Raptor so these three guys look like they're following him and chasing him. I might try that. It might be a little bit of a diorama type situation. But Yeah, I'll probably do that. And then obviously we have um, General Ledger, not Admiral Ledger. So there you go. Um, let's see. Uh, Corporate. Wow, that is neat. Yeah, it is. Um, 610 Yojo Daddy. The storyline with Thread 7 and Raptor when he spins on an APC model on the string to locate the Joes was epic. Yeah. I like that story. It's a very fun story arc that goes on with Fred 7, Cobra. Armor Cobra Commander Billy, Raptor, that whole thing. I really like that story. It was a fun story. I thought it was a really good continuation of the Billy story because we see this Billy character all the ways through the comics, pretty much for the entire history of Larry's run. From I think it's like the early what 30s, from the early 30s till like the 100 and somethings. And I think he even appears in the IDW comics, and he's still appearing, I think, in current comics in the Skybound. So Billy's a good character. It's a character that Classified should definitely do a figure of if they're trying to do comic inspired stuff. And I haven't seen that much comic inspired stuff. I've seen a lot of Sunbow. I've seen some a reverse where Skybound has taken some of the interpretations of the figures and did them in Skybound comics and reversing that pattern. But I don't see a lot of Larry Hama's comic stuff done in Classified. That's just my gut. They're doing a lot more Sunbow stuff. But I wish they would, because then we would have gotten Fred Sevenhead with Cobra Armor Cobra Command. We would have got Fred Heads with the Crimson Guards. We would have got a Dr. Knox head with that Crimson Guard female. We would have got some other stuff too. Right, 610 Yojo Daddy? Good upgrade, fun character, agree about neck articulation. Yeah, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. But overall, a really good figure. So I was very, very happy to get this figure. I can't say it enough. He's a wonderful character, wonderful figure. Really good upgrade. I'm very, very happy with it overall. Oh, issue 10. That's right, because they have, I think, the like it's like the Boy Scouts, the Cobra Boy Scouts. He does appear. You're right about that. 610 Yojo Daddy. Thank you. So uh, our next review is going to be another Legacy 60th anniversary figure, and that will do it for our 60th anniversary. Then we're going to go into Legacy characters, and then we got another retro vintage package figure, and then we have another redeco 2-pack. After that, that's a really interesting one. It's going to be interesting to talk about because there's a lot of future building with that, and I look forward to getting to all three of those in our next three videos coming up. And then after that, we have another awesome, like totally cool variation of a character we've not gotten Classified. This is our first version of this character, and it is going to be so totally awesome, so through the roof. I can't wait to get them. Very similar to this Raptor figure that I've been waiting to get to. I've been waiting to get to this other character, and it's going to be phenomenal. My God, we need Billy in Classified. Yeah, like we need a new head. We've needed a new Billy for a while. He's a very integral character in all of lore. All of the comics has used Billy. I'm trying to remember if he ever appeared in any animation. I don't think so. Love Raptor. Great review, Dave. Thank you very much, 610 Yojo Daddy. Yeah, Billy, there's a lot of good characters in the comics that would really make a nice like group of figures. I think they should do that. If they're doing 5-figure waves and they're doing a lot of redecos and reuse in those 5-figure waves, why not give us a comic character in every wave? throw in a Quinn, throw in a Billy, throw in a Clown, throw in Bongo the Balloon Bear, throw Dr. Appel, throw the Hard Master, throw the Soft Master, throw the Blind Master, the Old Master. There's a lot of cool characters that were in the comics, that could be figures. They have a lot of parts. A lot of those masters, they could use a lot of those parts that we've gotten with Akiko, with Storm Shadow, with the Techno Vipers, not the Techno Viper, the the red ninjas, the blue ninjas, the all the movie variations, the I'm trying to think of the ninjas from the 90s that were like pink and gray. I'm blanking. uh the master debater. Ha, funny, Lone Dragon, you always throw in really funny stuff. uh Who's the ninjas? I just did their review not too long ago. I can't think of who their names are. There's plenty of things you could use to make those masters, all the masters, not only Billy and all that stuff. But I think Quinn, you may have a little bit of a new sculpting there. Clown, Bongo, you would have a little bit of new. But a lot of the ninja guys, I don't think so. I think you have plenty of parts to use on all those ninjas. I would like to get another Firefly, but the Blurred Master Firefly, or he's called the Shadow. I think it's called the No, I didn't know that, Lone Dragon. Entertainment Order, Earth finally charged you for your pre-order. Yeah, they're very late when it comes to this stuff, so that's why I stopped getting stuff from them. I'm gonna stick with Pulse as much as I can, and then if I have to do a pre-order through Walmart or Target, I will. But 100% Pulse right now, and I'll order some odds and ends through Big Bad Toy Store, like Street Fighter and Cops and things like that. But I'm not ordering classified through Entertainment Earth. They've just been too difficult to deal with, and the way they ship stuff and stuff like that. I've I've been burned by them too much. The IG bat from the same order a year ago. Yeah, you were telling me that the other day. They the What was I getting at? So yeah, I think we should get some comic book characters. That's just my gut feeling. I would love to get some. I think you could do other Freds, because they did Fred 2, they did Fred 1, they did Dr. Appel, that also has a bit of a heavier Crimson Guard costume. So if they're gonna do a female, they can do a bit of a heavier version of him and stuff like that. So and then maybe we could get a different version of Cobra Commander, vintage Cobra Commander, armor Cobra Commander with the Fred head and that mask off. Since they gave him two heads already, how difficult would it have been to give him a Fred head? It's just one of those weird things. I just don't get it, but it is what it is. All right, so I think that's going to do it for us. In today's episode, I am loving the Energon Universe comics right now. Fresh perspective, good storytelling. I agree with you, Brandon. It is. I've been loving it. If you watched my review on Monday night, you can see my episode. I think it was episode 251 or something like that. I'm going to be doing them once a month, going over all the Skybound comics. So keep an eye on those and look in the catalog, the library. You can watch those episodes. You can see how I love those comics and I'm excited about them. Firefly was which master? He was the Blurred Master, or I think he was the I'm trying to think, not the Shadow Master. What was Firefly? Faceless Master, the Faceless Master. Yo Jones 610 Daddy. Energon is phenomenal. Brandon, yep. Lone Dragon. I'd buy a female Crimson Guard if it comes in the same color as the CG I already have. Oh well. I'm off to get more off after this. Can't get enough. Yep, there you go. All right, guys. So we're gonna call it quits for the this episode. Thank you very much. I will see you guys all in the next episode. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for contributing, adding to this conversation, and adding questions and comments that I can add to this discussion that we have about these characters. I hope you enjoyed this Raptor video. It's really a good figure and a good character, and I love him. And I will see you guys all in the next one. And this is a big Cobra video. So we're going to go with Hail Cobra. See you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot. And thanks everybody after the fact in the replay crew for watching as well. Appreciate it.